This is Andi Purewal for ID Boxing. I'm joined by promoter Eddie Hearn here in London. Eddie, the worst kept secret of possibly this year, Anthony Joshua, Jermaine Franklin press conference is here now. Excited to finally be able to start promoting it?
Yeah, you say that. I mean, it only got signed on Monday, but for the last 10 days, certainly, we'd decided it was going to be Jermaine Franklin. I think it's a really good fight. I know that sometimes you're going to get criticism, whatever happens, but the fact is Jermaine Franklin gave Dillian Whyte a great fight in November. He looks great. He looks like he's lost some weight and he's focused. And everybody who fights AJ is going to raise their game. And, it's a chance of a lifetime for him. AJ's got to be on it. He's got to be sharp. And it's a very important moment in his career.
What was the deciding factor to pick Jermaine Franklin ahead of any other options?
I think all things considered, obviously an American fighter that did very well in the Dillian Whyte fight. We look at the Dillian Whyte fight for a stadium in the summer. When we looked at everybody else, there were a couple of southpaw options which didn't really make sense to Derrick James and the new training team. They felt like it was a good test for AJ. He could show off what he's been working on in the build-up to this fight. And it has danger as well. He's a clever fighter, old school fighter, good defence, has some power. We saw him with a good engine against Dillian Whyte. And I think it's a dangerous fight.
I spoke to Shane McGuigan yesterday, and Shane believes that when you get to maybe the midway mark, AJ will take over and look for that stoppage victory. Is it something you expect? What do you expect from this bout?
I'd love him to make a statement. I just want to see him win. I think that what's underrated about Anthony Joshua is his speed and his power and his combination punching. And a lot of that will be down to Derrick James to make sure that he has the confidence and belief and tank to let those fly. If he does that, it's going to be a difficult night for Jermaine Franklin, but he's shown how tough he is. And he was always in it till the 12th round, and I think he'll be fitter in this fight as well. So, Dillian Whyte did a good job against him. It was a tough fight, but I feel like he's going to raise his game against AJ. I believe AJ will knock him out, but I don't think it's going to be easy. And if you're watching, you know that it's a hungry heavyweight that's not going to lay down and is going to give AJ everything he can.
Where did Derrick James land on your own recommendations, Eddie?
As a trainer, he's one of the best trainers in the world. To be honest, it wasn't really about training style. It was about the guy that AJ met to say, I believe in you and we're going to have a great relationship. And Robert Garcia did a good job. He went out, he met a number of trainers, and obviously he met Derrick James. His credentials are there for all to see. But it's just about more of a personal relationship where he can really believe in someone, and he chose to believe in Derrick James.
Eddie, we've seen DAZN announce a new subscription price list. As always, when everything goes up, there's always criticism, but your thoughts on it?
My thoughts are, for the loyal customer, nothing really changes, other than you're now getting pay-per-view fights that you'd pay £24.95 for as part of your monthly subscription. We've seen, and a lot of this is one for you with Joe Markowski, but we see that the bulk of our subscribers are loyal customers that subscribe every single month. For them, nothing really changes. Now you won't have to pay pay-per-view for Anthony Joshua. You won't have to pay pay-per-view for Taylor Serrano or Canelo Bivol Canelo Ryder if that lands as well. So the value for customers, again, is unquestionable. Now, if you're not a loyal customer and you just want to pop in every now and again, it will cost you more money to do so. So if you wanted to pop in and watch the Anthony Joshua fight, it's going to cost you $19.99 for the month, but it'll also give you Jesse Rodriguez, Cordina against Rakimov, our show in Sheffield as well, and more. If you want to go in May to watch Taylor Serrano, you'll likely also get Canelo Ryder and our other shows from the UK. So the truth is if you're happy with the value you're getting on DAZN, which I think is unquestionable, nothing changes. And now, I guess what you've got to do is trust in us that from June to December, we'll continue to deliver the value that we're delivering so far. And for me, I think, at £8.30 a month or $9.99 if you buy the annual pass, it's tremendous value, especially bringing AJ off pay-per-view.
The 1999 price point, Eddie, as you mentioned there, if you want to dip in and out, some people over social media have suggested it's some way of maybe shadowing or hiding a pay-per-view platform because it's only like, say, a $5 less than what you would pay normally for, say, an Anthony Joshua fight. What are your thoughts on any criticisms from that standpoint?
Well, pay-per-view is for one night of boxing. This is for a month of boxing that's going to give you another 3 or 4 shows. And if you look at the value in April, if you do want to come in and spend $19.99 to get Anthony Joshua against Franklin, Cordina against Rakimov, Jesse Rodriguez, our other show from Sheffield, and I think one other show as well, I think it's tremendous value for $19.99. Now, some months you might look at it and say, I'm not sure it is value for $19, so I'll pass. That's up to you. But what I'm saying is everybody that I speak to has DAZN, especially everyone who's watching this video, has had it since its inception. So in that respect, nothing really changes other than you don't have to pay the extra money for particularly Taylor Serrano and Joshua against Franklin. So I get, I understand every time you're going to change a structure, there's going to be criticism. But for the people watching this video who have had DAZN from the start, who watch every month, I think the value is unbelievable.
Obviously started out at $1.99. We never expected it to stay there, Eddie, but it's now up at $9.99 per se, or £8.30 if you want to put it like that. But do you expect it to continue to rise as years and months progress?
Not really. I mean, I think ultimately it depends what's on the platform. If you're going to take an Anthony Joshua fight that's £24.95 off pay-per-view, you need to put a structure together that's going to allow you to do that. The other option is it's $9.99 a month and you're paying £25 for an Anthony Joshua fight as well. I think people would have moaned either way. So I like this model. I think it's great that AJ's not on pay-per-view. And I think if you're a DAZN customer, like I said, that continuously subscribes every month, as the huge majority do, now, the other customers that might come in that you or this world call casuals, that might buy a Misfits card and then next month disappear. There's many of those, there's a couple of 100,000 of them that don't actually watch a lot of the boxing. But the hardcore boxing fans, the loyal customer, this is a way that they can continue to give them great value for money.
How many of those do cross over?
Sorry, say again?
How many of those guys do cross over from say the Misfits?
Guys, I mean, there's a huge churn rate, and there's one for Joe Markowski, of Misfits subscribers, as you would expect, because they come from another world where they're there to watch YouTube boxing. Many stay, most go, but from the boxing fans, there is very little churn. So that's why, ultimately, on this model, it was a way to give them value for money across pay-per-view fights as part of your subscription.
Just a couple to squeeze, Eddie. Conor Benn, we didn't get that announcement last week. What's the latest to your understanding? Anything else?
It's an announcement, as you know, that's not coming from us. So I got told, I think Rob Tebbett announced it was coming last week. I don't know. I've been told it's imminent. We hope it hurries up, because we've got fights to plan for Conor Benn. So fingers crossed the WBC will make their announcement soon.
Tony Bellew's comments that Conor has some information which will have a lot of people sweating if it gets released.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things in that report that's going to worry a lot of people.
And final one, Buatsi Bivol reports come out the other day.
No, I mean, I saw that it was signed last night. Listen, it's a fight we'd love. There's a lot of negotiations at the moment for for Dimitri Bivol to fight Canelo Alvarez in September, maybe a better beer fight as well. But if Dimitri Bivol is going to have a voluntary defence in May or June, which could well be the case, Joshua Buatsi is the guy we'd like him to fight.
It's always a pleasure, thank you.
Cheers, mate, thank you.